Alex Harris here, back reviewing AO scan technology. So this is a combination of radionic and bioresonance technology. Came out of Russia decades ago, was improved upon for many years by the company Energy Development, now under the name Solex, because the system is available to anybody on a mobile and or tablet device, and for a much lower cost than it used to be sold for. So instead of being $30,000 plus a few $100s a month, now it's just $149 a month. That's it. It's a crazy deal. So in this video, we're going to be reviewing one of the programs, and there are many other programs here, as you can see, which are incredible for addressing just about any metabolic and organ system and function in the body. But they have this incredible dental program, which they, in even more recent times, improved upon. Spent a couple years with some dentists, and what you're going to see here will kind of blow you away. If you're concerned about dental health, or maybe you're a dental practitioner, this is an incredible tool to give you some insights into all the different tissue types. So not just the teeth, but basically non-invasively scanning with incredible accuracy. And offering you some insights as well into what this might be affecting in the body and or what might be affecting that area. So it covers kind of you're going to see here, I'm actually going to go through the reports so you can kind of see everything it covers. But first, I'm just going to kind of show you how easy it is just to scan. So we're just going to kind of roll through it. So basically you just let this run, it goes through. It takes about a minute, so we don't really have to wait for the whole thing here. But database function is a function where you can click on this and it will actually, we'll actually let this play out for a second here. All right, so I just kind of popped back through this. So basically it has run the full scan and now it's immediately diving into information. Okay, and what is it diving into? Well, it's diving into literally every tooth. So there's different ways you can kind of look at this. You can, on your device, after you run a scan, look at it this way, okay? You can also email to yourself or your client the report, which I'm actually pulling up right here. So this is what it gets emailed to you. And this is another way, actually I'm on the TMJ, I'm on the TMJ scan. Let me get back over here to the dental report. All right, so this is the other format that it comes through. And there's a little legend here that kind of tells you like where you're at in terms of should you address or take a look at something here or should you not. And generally, just a quick note, we are looking for, we're concerned and seeking more information about anything that's on the extreme outliers from 1 to 9, okay? So we're like, oh, okay, there's a 1 here, got it, all right, that's extreme. Kind of stroll down there and see if we, okay, like an 8, you know, I might watch an 8, might track an 8. Certainly going to track a 9 if I see a 9. But anyways, so as you can see, we're on the 6th cuspid, okay? And if you go back to the pictures on the scan, it'll actually kind of show you what that tooth is, you know, if you want to see a visual of it, where in the mouth. But as you can see, there's a list here of really mostly all the relevant tissue types that are in the mouth related to the teeth. All the things you'd really want to pay attention to in terms of oral health, okay? So, you know, it's kind of obvious. As you get this information, of course, the next thing will be if you want to actually optimize and literally run bioresonance frequencies, which are going to go through what? They're going to go through bone conduction headset, which the system comes with. Now I just kind of wanted to show you the little diagram. If you're not familiar with bone conduction, do a quick Google, you can learn about it. But essentially, it's not like a speaker, okay? It's actually a transducer, which is different, very different. So it's actually converting sound. It can really convert a lot of different things, but it's converting an electromagnetic signal, okay? Which is then passing through directly to the nerve, the auditory nerve, okay? Not the eardrum, but the nerve, and that nerve really goes then directly into the trigeminal and cranial nerve, and that gives a nice accurate assessment of all those nerves going into all the different tissues, TMJ, teeth, and all those structures you saw. Now, the bone conduction that is used with AO scan is actually not just like one random bone conduction headset you can buy online. They actually, the actual hardware is identical, but they tune it. So they do make some modifications so that the transducer is going to be delivering frequencies that match with the database here. Because remember, when you're looking at all these structures, this is tied to a biological equivalent frequency, which has to do with some specific function or some specific tissue type. Anyways, so that range of frequencies goes way, way beyond your auditory, like your normal auditory range. Okay, so that's why like a transducer bone conduction headset is so useful, because it's going to be going beyond what you can hear. Okay, so they do actually have to tune the bone conduction headset that is sold by the company to basically be able to provide you the larger or higher range of frequencies, just so you know. So this is not just like a random bone conduction headset you can just get offline. You really have to get it through the company because it's dialed for this specific range. So anyways, yeah, nice little pictures, laid out kind of obvious. So if you're like, wait a minute, what's the cementum? Then it'll draw you a little line here and you can kind of see what structure that actually is, okay? So yeah, if you, just like all the other scans, if you know your body relatively good enough, some of these things may be obvious to you. And you may be like, oh my gosh, wow, how did it know that? So even if the science is a little beyond you from a biophysics standpoint, most practitioners, and by the way, we now have hundreds of dentists that use this. So regardless, most of them don't understand the science, okay? But they get really excited when they're like, oh my God, like, how did it know this person had an infection under that specific crown or that specific area? So all these dentists, they get convinced that it's real when they basically see, from an assessment standpoint, this system understand things that normally would require actual, hands-on evaluation from a dentist, or using like a 3D scan. And there's some other tools as well that are out there in the dental space. So like, for example, I know exactly right that I have a little bit of enamel wearing on that for reflux basically in the past. So that's spot on. I'm actually really happy. I got a lot of work done on my teeth, and this is the first time I'm scanning it in months. So I'm really, 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 really happy with what I'm seeing here for the most part. It's much, much, much improved. So this is great. So this might be something I'm going to take a look at. That might be correct. I was noticing a little bit of sensitivity. I think I have to see which molar, if it's the right side that I'm thinking about. But I might take a look at that. For the most part, I'm not seeing too many reds and things like that. So this is it in a nutshell. You can take this information to the dentist actually, and have them kind of take further evaluation. When it comes to things that get deep inside the teeth, like the nerves, stuff like that, they know what to do. Like they're going to basically do some other additional testing and say like, hey, do you have like some infection or an abscess, or what's going on? Is there bacteria at the root here that we maybe need to take a look at? Things like that that could account for maybe a nerve affecting that one area. So kind of get the idea. Let me see, scroll to the bottom here. So this is one way. Again, this report appears immediately inside your device, or you can email it to yourself. Okay. Now, we're looking at the image report, by the way. If you wanted to see that table report in a kind of slightly different version, not the Excel version that you can email yourself or email your dentist or whatever, this is kind of nice, just a way, it's a little bit easier to glance at everything. It does keep track a little bit here, so you can kind of see how things improved. So what does this mean though? When you actually run the scan, okay, it's going to pull the values, assess through the nerves, through the brain, through the device, through the database. Okay, so it's kind of like your initial assessment, right? Because a lot of people wonder about this. This is why I'm explaining it. That's without running any therapeutic frequencies from bioresonance standpoint to actually help improve the values. The current scan is going to be like post the actual therapeutic frequencies applied. Okay, so I don't get like hyper focused, concerned on one scan like you saw me do. What I do with any of the scans really in AO Scan, the system, is I'll be like, this is great, whatever. But really, I'm going to probably do this dental scan like 3 times this week. And then I'm probably going to also do it like 3 times next week. Because you know what? I'm not in a rush. Right? So why am I doing it that many times? Because I'm going to actually then go back in and see, is my body, first off, from an immune system level, signaling level, is it having any challenges in any one area with actually adapting after I run the optimization frequencies? Is it struggling to optimize in an area? I'll make note of that if that happens consistently. I'm also just going to make note of any of these, extreme values, like there's a 9, for example, right? Is that 9 and the one on these couple different things on my cuspid number 6, is that going to pop up again on my future scans? Because if it does consistently, I'm going to say, you know what? There's definitely something going on here. So this system is really, really sensitive, AO Scan in general. So because it is so sensitive, which is great, I always tell people, like, just run a few scans over time and manually or copy paste into a document, make a note. Yeah, it's a little tedious. However, do you want to be 95 to 99% accurate in your assessment? If it's pretty incredible if you think about that, especially with some of the health data this system can give you. So yeah, heck yeah, I want to be that accurate. Just coming by some of this information is actually impossible or difficult or expensive if you try to do it through other methods. So yeah, it's a great opportunity, but just do the tedious thing, do multiple scans, make notes, and then I'm going to say, okay, I really need to take a look at what's up with this. I need to talk to my dentist, why is the cementum maybe having an issue here? Not only did it not change, but it's appeared on multiple scans now. Like, what's the deal? Why is this happening? And then take that information, if you're consulting with a really good dentist, or just Googling around or whatever, or even a remote consultation, right? Because you can always have that educational chat about these values with the dentist that you're not even seeing in person. But basically, you want to kind of look into that and then make the changes, right? And so why is this system also so useful, right? Because what if I did go do some health protocols, okay? How do I know? I mean, think about it. How do I know if it really improved all these little detailed values of my oral health, okay? If I went to go do something that should work or has supposedly worked for others. Well, I can track it. So let's say I make some changes. Couple months later, I'm going to actually see, has this changed, right? I'm going to be specifically looking. If it didn't, I'm going to be like, okay, well, maybe I improved some other areas of my oral health, but this area has not improved, okay? So I still need to continue to fine tune whatever protocol I'm doing. How amazing is that, right? So that's super useful. So you can really just dial in your protocols, see what works, what isn't working. You're not going to waste your time and money, right? Doing all these other protocols that just might not even be having the needed effect on specific areas of your mouth, right? And what I'm describing to you, by the way, fill in the blank. This is the same thing for like any organ or body system anywhere that these other scans can do for you, okay? So let's see the TMJ one. So the TMJ, some people have heard the condition like, oh yeah, but I have the TMJ pain, I have a TMJ condition, right? Well, that when you hear that term, trigeminal, it refers to mainly these structures. Okay, so let's do a quick scan here. So is this something useful for people with TMJ? Yeah, obviously with that condition, TMJ, sure. But it is also something useful for people that might have migraines and just other kind of brain stuff. People that might have a jaw issue. A lot of people have been in car accidents. It's actually crazy. So if you've ever had whiplash or just anything going on with your neck in general, anything in your cervical area, you need to, there's definitely some practitioners I'd recommend you see. And also getting an evaluation with like AO Scan, things like that, to see if there's any issues that have transferred forward, okay? Also, sleep apnea or just some sleeping, not getting enough proper carbon dioxide, oxygen, and you'd have to wear a specific sleep tracker for that. It's actually fairly common, and people have no idea. Snoring is one way you can kind of detect a issue. Sleep trackers, and also having an evaluation of these structures and your oral cavity by a properly trained dentist. Bioscan also can provide you from very, very deep stuff. And again, remember, it does optimize, right? So if there's an issue going on right here, for example, with this specific muscle right there, which for me is definitely always tense, hence the 9. It's never a coincidence. And ooh, surprise, surprise, left scalene. Yes, that is me also. I also have some more tense scalenes here. So that's definitely accurate. Anyways, so when you're scanning, it is also optimizing. So it is correcting these frequencies as we go. So the body can kind of bring these areas into a little bit more balance depending on what is the need. Anyways, just kind of wanted to kind of show you kind of how it lays everything out. It's kind of like the nerve scan, right? It goes in all these areas. And by the way, if you do actually have a specific TMJ sort of condition, I'm aware of not just AOScan, but also other types of technologies out there, devices that you can buy and or get treatments with that is phenomenal for different TMJ conditions. Okay, so you can always reach out to me, and my email is below in the description, or you can leave me a comment if you're finding me on social media. Okay. And again, yes, I do have a lot of tension right there in that muscle. And oh my gosh, surprise, surprise, also the other side of the scalenes, right? Anyways, these guys require a lot of work, and part of that is just honestly just from my workouts specifically that causes that for me. And then why I get that is literally just clenching my jaw a little bit habitually during the daytime. That's all. Yeah, it's just a little unconscious thing that I do. Most likely, let me see where that is on my body. Yeah, right around that area, and I kind of just generally around this area. I do generally have probably some irritation there just because of what I said before. Combination of scaling and clenching my jaw just a little bit too much, and that's just going to kind of aggravate the nerves there. So I'm not like super concerned about it. But anyways, so that's in a nutshell. Basically, you can still also email this over to yourself. And again, of course, if you just want to see the table report for a quick glance, track your progress with a specific hands-on or device modality, therapeutic protocol that you might be doing, you can track your results that way. And again, you're going to kind of want to really do multiple evaluations over time. Okay. So don't be like, oh my gosh, I did this modality and, I did a test the next day and all these values, I mean, it's like, it will show changes, but it's going to be really confusing because just you're literally in the midst of so many changes. So I just really recommend over time tracking these things, or even like doing a TMJ protocol and then like a month later doing a few scans, where you've really had some time. Don't like obsessively keep doing the scans. And the other reason you don't want to do that is because I just mentioned that it optimizes, helps you tune these areas into better homeostasis and function every time you scan, which means what? That means your body is then changing in those areas. It's adapting, okay? So that means it's going to be basically impossible to a certain extent, or really hard in the short term to track how another modality or protocol that you're doing is actually working, right? So that's why I say, but it's way easier over time to track. Okay, so like a month later, if I still see it's like an 8 or a 9, I'm like, okay, like that's, it's definitely whatever. It's much easier to reach conclusions that way, okay, more longer term. So it's really cool. Again, there's a lot of dentists that use this, people that use this, or just to improve the oral health every single day, move it in the right direction. This has been very useful. You can actually make some homeopathic remedies out of your scans. So when you see actually those scans come up, you can actually put a vial on top of the device in a specific part of the screen. It's a lot to explain. It used to be a hardware attachment that you'd actually put like a vial into. and now over time they had figured out how to do it through the screen itself. But you can actually make remedies out of those frequencies and use those as well on your mouth. But basically, if you're just using your bone conduction headset every single day, running the sessions, that's going to be good enough as far as that goes. And of course, remember that oral health affects everything else in the body, all these other little systems and different things that you can look at and organs. It does affect all the other things in the body. And vice versa, all the other different aspects of the body, immune system health, affect oral health, right? So we might want to take a look at what's going on with your gut, right? And this is basically where you really get into like a lot of the organ systems. So yeah, I might be looking at digestive organs and functions, and blood as well. You know, these other things, of course, are going to affect oral health. So if I work on those areas or pay attention to what's going on in those areas with those scans and reports and optimizations and remedies and whatever, that is also, of course, going to improve my mouth. So it kind of works holistically, right, with the other programs, to really improve things. And again, this is helpful, right? Because if you're seeing like, oh, cool, this one area of my gut health or whatever it is, right, that started improving when I did X, Y, and Z. And then look, wow, it actually improved. Then I saw in my reports this aspect of my oral health. Pretty cool, right? So you can kind of track things back and forth, and other protocols and therapeutic modalities you might be doing. So very, very cool. There's literally nothing else like it out there. It's extremely accurate. And I'll be honest, a large percentage of people have oral health issues that need improving, and they completely neglect them. Part of the reason it's neglected is because there's not really, it's definitely some aspects of poor health with the teeth do pop up, right, with seeing a dentist, but they are also limited, right, in the types of assessments that they can do. So this kind of fills in all the blanks, let's just say, and gives you more detail, granular insights, so you can really kind of catch things. It's also so sensitive, this system as a whole, by the way. It's sensitive enough where, especially if you use the database program link, and you can check that out another time, or basically that gives you an assessment of causal factors related to, and I didn't even kind of show that. Let me see if I can kind of show that right here. Hold on. So the database is crazy detailed. Not every dentist wants to take a look at it, and it's not super important. But it basically gives you an assessment of like how long specific causal factors have been affecting you. And so it can also detect future issues too, like when something eventually manifests significant symptoms, okay? So, it's just tracking, for example, in a sense of priorities, a percentage right here at the top, pathology, what kind of pathology do I have in my mouth? So gingivitis is going to be something that's been going on for a little while, but it's more of a low cause. Anyways, there's ways to actually read this, and there's training around this. It's not too complex. You want to pay more attention to the higher causes here, and things that, as you know, pop up. And it's crazy because every part of the body is interconnected, and every part of the body is affected by everything, long story short. So because the system can scan many different aspects of your body, including some mental and emotional health and that effect on the body, it's basically pulling in this dental report from other aspects of your body that's been assessed to actually factor this in. So even like emotional mental states and how it's connected to specific aspects of your oral health. And that's been developed over time, as they can kind of see where when certain things consistently come up in other areas of your scans and body, they can, over time we've been able to kind of refine and see correlations in databases and reports. Let's see what else here. Mold fungus, got one hit there, possibly. Anyways, pretty cool. It's actually looking pretty good, my database this time. Yeah, definitely some bacteria related things. I'm actually switching to a new bacteria toothpaste. to kind of balance my oral biome a little bit more. And so as I do that, this is actually kind of interesting. That lime is a little bit low, but yeah, lime will affect your nerves, and there's everywhere in the body, and they can affect your teeth. Anyways, I don't want to get too much into the granularity of this, but I did kind of want to show you that it does track for how long something has been affecting you, if it's like super relevant or important to pay attention to or not. And again, it just gives you more things to track behind the values that you see really out of range with your specific tissue types in your oral cavity. So yeah, it's super detailed and pretty awesome. If you have any questions about this, you can basically just pop on over to the website here, shop.solexnation. You'll see my link below in the description. And you basically can do a little sample pass if you want. You can use it for a few days on whatever device you prefer if you kind of want to see it in action. That's pretty cool, right? And then if you do want to kind of like try it out, again, you can quit anytime, but which is also nice. You know, you're not locked into anything. But basically, it's $149 a month to get all the different programs and scans and all different functions. And there's a lot. I haven't even shown you everything. This was just a dental-related video, really. But that's, you have to add in your subscription. Then you got to pick either the kind of the Bluetooth transducer headset, or you can get a wired one over here. And yes, there are some other products and things like that that the company sells. And then basically you'll get a little download button. And if you do want to kind of get a discount, by the way, on some of the products, you just hit that join button at the top, click over here, Quantum Living Advocate, you select that, and it's just $49 a year. And it kind of sets you up to become an affiliate as well if you want to share your link with people and they can purchase from you. But basically, by also doing this, you get a discount on everything, on every product that I was just talking about, including a whole bunch of other stuff too. So the only thing it doesn't discount is the monthly subscription, okay? But everything else it does, so it might be worth it. You may want to consider that. You can technically do that whenever you want or not. And if you just want to be a regular customer, you know, you do get discounts if you're going on auto ship, and if you don't want to do an auto ship, you can just be a regular retail customer too. So it's kind of cool. They give you a bunch of different options. Pretty easy if you have any questions on this part and just how to get signed up, or just, you know, get it. But again, you can download it on whatever you want, whatever mobile device or tablet. I would suggest, you know, a tablet's nice. It's a little bit of a bigger screen, easier to see, and also that's more usually dedicated to, it just doesn't have as much crap on it, right? We usually our mobile devices, our cell phones have a lot of stuff on it. If you're one of those people who just has a lot of stuff on your device and you think it's kind of crammed up, especially the RAM and the memory and things like that, you know, you may want to kind of like run it on a tablet. And there's pretty cheap tablets online, by the way, that you can buy nowadays. If not, yeah, you can just try it on your mobile device and see how it goes. If you have any sluggishness to it or anything else like that, you know, could just be a sign that, you know, you just have a lot of kind of stuff on your phone. So just wanted to give you that kind of tip a little bit. Anyways, last thing I want to say is there is a way actually to remotely work with somebody with the dental program, as well as the other reports and scans or functions and programs. So this is an unusual technology. Some aspects of it can be done remotely, and it still maintains absolutely the same accuracy. And I always do recommend, even if you're going remote, you know, take the commonalities amongst multiple reports and optimize consistently as well every single week. Anyways, that's it for now. If you have questions, leave them below in the comments, and you can always reach out to me directly anytime by email. And you also have my cell phone and contact info there too if you send me an email. Anyways, thanks, and I hope you enjoyed this video.